I'm with you.
We can't start the pod like this.
It's too late. We did.
They don't know about they don't know about the conversations we have when we fade to black.
Sean,
They were great.
Oh.
Hey, everybody, it's Friday! October 25th, 2024. People at the taco truck, do not be alarmed. I'm just podcasting here. My name is Jan Ochoa. Welcome to BOMBCAST REVENGEANCE. Joining me, co-captain of the ship. His eyes are haunted right now, so he has to cover them. Jeff Grubb.
Ready to podcast.
That's right. He's always ready to podcast. He's been looking up how to legally import skeletons into his home. Dan Reichert.
I imported one into my body. I got one in here right now.
That's right. Speaking about having a body, he's the hottie, the bad boy of games media, and he's got a body count that he's hiding in his basement. Mike Minotti.
Oh, it's Minotti Too Hottie with the most banging body. How's it going, everybody?
Fantastic.
Do the kids say body count for sex partners now?
Yes, they
Okay.
do.
I feel like I've heard that used a couple times in recent
you gotta
months.
stop bringing up sex, man. Oh my god.
That's my whole gimmick, right? Yeah, I feel like every once in a while I'll see a term getting thrown around and be like, I think the kids are using this now. Locked in, body count.
Body count. They definitely use body count for that. Yes.
Okay.
That's. I think I noticed on TikTok a few months ago that.
Okay. Please, let's have a mini very online show. Wow.
Sure.
Are there any other terms y'all would like clarification on? As like an ambassador.
I'm very late to
youth?
even hearing, because since I'm not on TikTok, I feel like I'm several months behind. Like Jan, you said I got on the Chapel Roan train months after it was blown up elsewhere. Body count I know now. It's like several months behind, yeah.
Okay.
As long as you all know Ohio, that we're good.
I know of Skibbity and Ohio.
Yes. Ohio. And what does Ohio mean then?
Mid, which means
Slightly
middle
worse than
of the
mid, though,
road.
I think. Is it just bad?
It's
I think-
like a little worse than mid.
Is this in Ohio? Yeah. Which one's cringe? Is that Skibbity? One of them's Skibbity.
No,
I
Skibbity
think cringe
is
is cringe.
I thought Skibbity was sus now.
No, sus is done. That was during the
Skibbity
Among
is
Us
bad.
thing.
Skibbity is like you're a bad or evil thing.
Oh.
Okay.
Evil.
Evil.
Oh, yeah, but yeah.
Do
it depends on the
children
context, but
comprehend
bad.
evil, really, though?
No.
Yeah, they're not old enough to comprehend good and
They
bad.
don't have problems.
Yeah, some problems.
You don't care about children. You clarified that yesterday.
Right, of course.
Yes. Boys, it's been a week. Y'all are fresh off of the racetrack just now. We did the Astrobot Invitational 2 right before this. Really setting the world ablaze, my friends.
You guys ever gonna give me competition or what?
Yeah,
Grub,
pretty close.
I'm
pretty
a few
close.
thousandths of a second behind you right now, Grub. I am
and the
competition.
shoot leaderboard. I just mean like for the people. We're putting on a show.
I'll tell you what, for the Invitational, I thought I had no chance. I was pretty happy with my
Yeah,
second
you did.
place.
Yeah, because you kind of came in kind of hot, and then
I did have a better one than you during that stream, for the record.
Yeah, but it didn't count.
I think I had one in the. Well, yeah, that's right. You did have a good one in the sevens, right?
I have it's literally 8 thousandths of a second behind yours. Yours is like 740. I'm like 748 or
I had
something.
a couple. I think I had a couple 760s like off stream, off camera.
Hey,
I'm
Dan,
right
again,
there. Huh.
that new Sonic game that's actually like good.
Yeah.
It has leaderboards.
Oh,
It has
really?
friends list leaderboards. It has
That'd be a
world leaderboards.
funny one. Are you playing on PC?
Ooh.
No, I'm playing on PlayStation. I don't know
Oh,
if it's
damn.
cross. Shit.
Oh,
I'll
shit.
get
I don't think it's
PC.
cross.
I want to play that this weekend. I got a busy tomorrow, but I want to play Sonic. I want to play Batman VR, and I want to play Call of Duty. So I got a few that I want to get to this weekend.
Yeah, it could be a busy weekend.
Yeah,
It's a
I'm
lot.
interested in checking out Batman also, but
Fun.
I'm afraid I'm a yak.
It's pretty good at that as far as the actual, like, because I turned on, there's like, oh, do you want to do baby mode VR or do you want to do like I won't puke mode? I did I won't puke mode, and it's like throw all of it at me. And even then, I didn't get, and I will get a little queasy, with VR.
That
We
would
gonna-
destroy me.
Anyone checking out Call of Duty this weekend?
Yeah,
I'll
I
play a
downloaded
little
it.
bit of it.
I want to play campaign. I used to play all the campaigns, and I kind of stopped around like WW2, like that one from Sledgehammer. But I've heard this one's good, and I just like the Black Ops, like Cold War intrigue stuff.
Sure.
Like I think that's fun. So like I want to play that. You probably like kill Saddam Hussein or something.
Can't
Bill
wait to
Clinton
see
is
George
in this
W.
one.
George W. Can I play as George W? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. No, I'm gonna play
You
that.
got
I'm
the
looking
Dodge
forward to it.
shoes.
Oh
Quick
yeah,
time
Well,
event.
that
Quick
would
time event to
rule if
dodge
that
a
was a
shoe.
mini game. Yeah.
If
Holy
you
crap.
had to throw a shoe at him, that'd be so good. I haven't
Wow.
played a COD campaign since Advanced Warfare. Jeez.
What was the moment in Modern Warfare? Is it like, does someone like toss you a knife and then you throw it at?
Yeah, that was the end
ba-
of the first one.
Right, they could do that, but with
Yeah.
the shoe,
Is
that,
it-
that would
yeah.
rule.
Is it Sam Elliott? Because you're on the ground. Does Sam Elliott voice the guy, or does he just look like Sam Elliott? No, that's Modern Warfare 2.
Are you thinking of
Or Sam 4.
not Soap, but Captain
Yeah, not so
Price?
the other guy,
Not
Captain Mustache.
Price. No, but there's a gray-haired guy that does a heel turn, and I thought it was Sam Elliott.
you're
At the end of COD 4,
Shockingly, I don't think I've ever said this before. Dan, you remember more about this than I do.
Yeah,
Oh,
the general. Yeah, I know the general you're talking about. I don't know if it's Sam Elliott.
People are saying Shepard.
Shepard.
I think
No,
that
they're,
sounds
they're
right.
saying Shepard with a question mark, though. So
I think so. General Shepard. Yeah.
okay, that sounds plausible. Yeah. He turned bad. It turned out
That's
that that he was controlling the people that were being terrorists against the United
Yeah,
States.
he did
Dan,
like an
what mil-
ocelot.
What military rank do you wish you had the most just because you think it sounds cool?
Brigadier General.
That's
Ooh,
pretty
you're
good.
right.
Yeah.
No,
Of
that's
course-
the answer.
I think it'd be pretty funny if you were Lieutenant Dan. But,
I have not seen that,
Yeah.
so I know that's a
Cool.
reference, though.
Yeah.
He would love Forrest Gump.
I've seen
Yeah, Forrest
parts of
Gump's
it.
great.
I know he ran and went to war.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then ran
you
as
would
a
love
kid.
Forrest Gump. We ate at the restaurant.
yeah, but
Yeah, it's just like the
Oh,
restaurant.
yeah. And then Freebird's in it. Yeah.
Oh, God.
right.
What was the beverage we had again? That was glorious.
Lima-Rita, the beer-Rita.
Corona Rita.
Yeah.
That
Hey,
was
Dan,
good.
we could be there in 8 days. We can be back at Bubba Gump. Me and you.
It's
Oops, shit.
you know, I go there for you, Mike.
I appreciate that, Dad.
It's like when you take a kid to the McDonald's play place and like, I'll sit over here and eat while you have fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hey, listen, I like that. They go and entertain themselves. I get to sit there and I'll bring
be
my
clear-
Steam Deck sometimes.
You don't have to take me to the Mall of America if you'd rather take me to like more exciting local places. I don't want you to feel
But
pressure.
you seem so happy when
do
you
seem
all
happy.
go.
You have
Tell
to
you what,
take him to
let's-
Mall of America.
We'll see. Okay, because I think it's him and Kayla getting in around the same time.
Yep.
And
Sean
yeah.
walking there?
What's that? Sean.
yeah, Sean's walking. He's hitchhiking.
Kayla's-
He's running like Forrest Gump.
Yeah. Kayla will go anywhere. She's easy. Maybe she'll be fine with Mall of America. It's
do
right
what
by the
Kayla
airport
wants.
too. So yeah.
Whatever.
Sean wants to go to Mall of America too. I don't know when he's coming in. Maybe we all
okay.
go.
Mall of America's fun. Sean wants to see that Nickelodeon theme park, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There's a Lego store there too.
There is, and a Toys R Us.
Maybe I need to finally just go and buy that freaking Home Alone Lego set. It looks so
Ooh.
freaking good.
You know what I have here? I'm trying to finish up the Millennium Falcon Lego by the time you guys get here, so that table can be used for like pizza or whatever. And then I've got the Deku Tree and the Mario on Yoshi thing ready to go. So I'm gonna put those together next.
Yeah, I saw they announced the X Mansion set, and I really
that's
don't need
cool.
it,
Mm.
but I really want it. For some reason, they're putting Beast in a mini blind bag, so you can get pretty much all the other X-Men except Beast. I wouldn't put Beast behind one of those.
No, I tell you, that's one of my favorite character archetypes, though. Like the strong guy, but actually, he wears reading glasses and has books. Like,
Are you the
that's
Beast
that's a
of this
good
gang?
character.
Are you the Beast of this gang, Mike?
I'm a beast, baby.
Now, wouldn't that be Grub? I feel like Grub would actually be useful in a fight, whereas like
No, Beast is useful in a fight. He's like
that's what I'm
hopping
saying.
and
Grub
bopping.
would be. I'm saying like
Yeah,
me,
well, look, we're
Minotti,
talking about
we would
we're
not
talking
be.
about martial prowess. I believe Grub has me beat for sure. Absolutely.
That's what I go around saying.
If I was at a bar with one of these guys and shit went down, I'm sorry, Mike. I'd rather have Grub with me.
Yeah,
Whenever things were
yeah.
fishy, I definitely had to like I did the Mike
But-
Minotti stare, but to like one of my friends who actually had muscles, like
Yeah.
But Dan,
the
what if the
best feeling
fight?
in the world though is going to a bar just with Samoa Joe, and then I've
God, yeah.
never wanted someone to start shit before, but I went to a Brooklyn bar just with Samoa Joe once, and I was like, please, someone start shit. That'd be
Yeah,
incredible.
that would- man.
I did not. We just got drunk and talked about wrestling.
Now, Dan, what if the fight was against Grub?
Samoa Joe would
Oh, please, God,
decapitate.
no. He would rip me in half.
Samoa Joe is not in this equation. We're
Oh.
going to the previous hypothetical where there's a scuffle, but the scuffle is and Grub is on the other side.
I'm throwing Mike Minotti in Grub's way, and I'm getting the fuck out of there.
yeah, I'll be an
Okay.
obstacle. Maybe he'll hesitate for a moment. He'll have some kind of flashback.
Yeah, I would like recognize your humanity. I'm like, I know this man.
He'll remember going to that E3 where we were in line for Star Wars Battlefront together or something. I don't know.
It's a single tear will roll down Grub's eyes.
Yeah.
And he'll
Some
put the beer
sweet
bottle
memory.
down.
Yeah. I mean, I'll
Us
still
getting
kill him,
corked. Getting corn dogs at Disneyland. Something.
Those were good corn dogs.
I really want to squeeze in another Disney trip while we're down in Los
Yeah, we
Angeles.
haven't talked about that. We could try to do that because we haven't.
Oh,
Flying.
I booked my stuff today.
I booked my
Oh, really?
I mean-
Were we supposed to book it? I was not.
We got an email
got an
earlier
email.
today.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ooh.
if that's difficult, Universal's always easier from where we are.
It's not
for
the
a day.
same magic, though, you know?
It's a different magic. You haven't been Universal with me.
I do enjoy all of those properties at Universal more than I enjoy the Disney ones.
Water
I guess
World.
Simpsons,
Waterworld's there.
Waterworld,
Yeah, but
Jurassic
Dan,
Park.
you might get sopping wet again.
I guess fine. I'll get wet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, remind me to talk to you two about something immediately after the show that is
Right.
not going to cause rumor
Were we
and
supposed to do that
innuendo.
before? No, we
Yeah,
were
but
gonna-
I forgot.
Who's
but
the
then
two?
We also lost time.
You two.
Us two.
What's it about? Give a hint.
No, don't worry about
I think
it.
I know
Discord
what
me.
it is.
Ooh, Mikey, I'm interested. Okay, we're going to have a mini meeting after this. And Mike, you tell me what you think I'm going to
Discord
say to
me,
these
Jan.
two.
I'm too
Mike,
curious now.
Mike knows because he remembers when you told me.
Yeah,
I don't know
know
who's
what it
there.
is.
I'm curious.
We have a similar
Discord me.
concern at my place. I know what it is.
Discord me.
Maybe
Afterwards.
it's not. Looking at Jen's face.
I'm too curious. I'm going to be wondering.
Oh,
all
that's
the time.
Nikki and
Let's
Sean,
not-
I was
y'all
gonna write
already
in the
know.
chat right now. I was gonna write in this chat right now.
With this chat? Oh, yeah, nothing gets shown in this chat. Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Did I get it?
Anyway.
that can't be that. That's boring.
What?
I don't know why you built it up so much,
Yeah.
Dan. He's like, let's have a work meeting.
No,
Oh,
that's
this is
not
going to be
that,
good
Mike.
stuff.
That's not
Okay,
it.
and Jan was also wrong. Or no, Mike was also wrong. based
Jen
on
thought
his
I was
reaction
right.
there.
To be fair.
No.
Oh, no,
What
not
is
that.
it?
Not that. It's close, right?
No.
It's tangential.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is great podcast.
My
All right,
head's going
everybody.
crazy.
I am not leaving the website, damn it.
I'm going to think you are until I hear otherwise.
Dan, I am not leaving the website. That's not what I'm talking to you two
You just
about.
heard otherwise, Dan.
Grub, Discord me. I'll no sell it.
Is it not just okay?
Now I want to know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll know later. Okay. All right.
I want to know now.
Anyway, it was really nice working with you, Jan. That was.
Oh,
you
Jan.
know,
But Jan, you know what? Yeah, that's how could you turn that down? You know.
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah.
I can't believe you
Wait.
would leave me with the memory.
I did just get a wow. I just got a message. I got a message from someone on staff saying Jan's leaving.
They could just message you that, but that wouldn't be real.
We're all leaving when you think
Well,
about
until I
it.
hear otherwise from someone on this call.
Oh man. All right. Yep, that's right, guys. I'm leaving for Kind of Funny East.
Oh wait, we got a message.
Kind of
Let's
funny.
see. Is that did Grub say that?
Where are you reading this now?
What is
This
okay?
terrible.
Okay, it was a good bit. The whole thing that we're doing.
it?
A little,
I need
it
to
was.
know.
It was fun because it's like, oh, they're being stupid. But now it's legitimately annoying.
I for sure need to know, or I'll go crazy.
Okay, I'll put it in our Discord after I talk about what the week's hot topic is.
Okay.
All right, this week's topic.
We start the show now.
This week's hot topic is we are going to be crowning the Mount Rushmore of scary games. I was so scared my Goggler was going to break.
Yes.
Jeff Grubb,
Yes.
please, I consider you the Mount Rushmore aficionado. What determines a Mount Rushmore?
Yeah. So it's always important to keep in mind, not necessarily always going to be, these are the 4 best games in the genre. It is maybe 4 most important, maybe, I always say emblematic, things that represent what you want to represent when you say something like scary games. Now, do we want to get more specific on scary games, or are we just going to say survival horror games, or
I think we can just say scary because there's gonna be scary games that aren't in that genre specifically.
and we're not talking spooky, so it's not Luigi's Mansion 3, right? That's
I
not
mean,
going to
if that scared the shit out of you, I mean, you can bring
Okay,
it up.
no,
I
that's,
thought
that's,
it was pretty scary.
that's but that's what the definition I'm going for. So we're not talking about just it's Halloween themed and it's got monsters.
No.
It's not going to be
No.
Castlevania Symphony
Actually
of Night.
scary.
Actual
actually
scary games.
scary.
Uh,
Yeah.
Grubb, question: Are we limited to one entry per IP at all?
We can I think the best way to handle those situations is to have the conversation. So if you want to put more than one IP up there for consideration, you're going to have to make the argument for why these 2 games from the same franchise should be
Right.
keeping off something fresh.
Just to
Okay.
pay off the storyline for the chat, Jan has updated me, and it's boring.
Why did you just tell him?
No, because there's other factors in it. All right.
Sure, but it's boring. Okay.
I'm actually just leaving.
We're bored by that. We don't find that very
I'm
interesting.
gonna go work at
We're like,
Salesforce.
finally.
Salesforce, Jesus.
Okay, so yes, I mean we could argue a couple from but yeah, Grub said it. You got to make the argument if it's more than one.
All right.
And it is kind of against it. It was a certain point, like, look, there could be a whole list of Resident Evil games. Maybe we don't want to do that.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean,
totally.
or maybe we do, but they would have to be. All the other games had to be terrible, and I just don't think that's going to happen.
Like, sometimes
There's
it
lots
happens,
of scary games.
when you did like 3D, like the Mount Rushmore 3D platformers, it's like, there might be 2 Marios on there. Deal with it. But
Right.
it
Did
has
we
to be a
do
special
that? 3D
occasion.
platformers?
I
don't know
think
if we-
Jeff and I might have done it. With
That would have had to
you.
be for like 4, or 3 Marios and an Astrobot, but that's I guess a different podcast.
It might have been.
That's a sitcom
Yeah.
if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. And I think we did it after Astro came out, right? So maybe.
Ratchet and Clank's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
good.
Yeah. Okay. So, who wants to start here? Who wants to throw some stuff out?
Okay, Resident Evil 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I heard you guys last night talking about moments, and like the dog thing is like the number one all-timer scary thing that's ever happened in a game. We all remember that. We all got scared shitless. It's that first great scare in the Great Scary series. And RE1, like, I don't know, it was like RE1, I believe, came out before, because it came out in 96, was set in 98, right? So it would have been a couple years before Metal Gear Solid. So, like, even though it's not like cinematic on the level of like a Metal Gear, it was still early on in that like CD-ROM. Oh shit, we've got voice acting, we've got a story. They're doing these cinematic angles and everything. It really came at the right time. This is a completely different experience that I've never had before, and they did it so well right out of the gate.
Yeah, I think sometimes people forget about 1996. Like, this is like as much a 3D gaming pioneer as Mario 64 is, which is impressive, and obviously doing a very different thing. Yeah, it reads as pretty campy now, but at the time, I didn't think it was campy. I thought it was pretty actually scary. And if that campiness like detracts from it actually being threatening for you, well, you can go and play the remake that they did in the GameCube era, which is still actually pretty legitimately scary and still a very good looking game. The best pre-rendered backgrounds you probably will ever see. Yeah. And like there might be scarier Resident Evil games now for sure, but there's something about this game that is still a good balance of some jump scares, a lot of just tense moments and creepiness. And also, like, yeah, it started the survival horror genre, right? Like, I wasn't thinking about scary video games really being a thing before this.
Sure.
I know they were out there, but this opened the floodgates on that genre.
Well, that's the thing. You mentioned there were like quieter moments, and it's not just the dog. It's not just the zombie turning around. Like when I think about it, I equally remember like, okay, this is just a big dining hall, and all I can hear is the ticking of a grandfather clock that's like echoing across the floor, and it's like that is just such a spooky vibe. It's not constantly throwing shit at you, but then when it does throw shit at you, like, oh, here's the hunters. Then it's like shit your pants, like, oh god, I'm in trouble feeling.
It's so smart because it's a haunted house. Like that's what it is. It's a haunted house, and it's kind of almost Metroidvania-esque. You're sort of repeating areas. You're thinking about your resources. Even that's scary, right? Like, oh man, like maybe I'm not going to shoot this zombie because I don't have that many bullets. I kind of have to like weave around it, and that's tense because getting hit one time can be a very big problem.
Thing is, there is a reason I don't think I beat a Resident Evil game until 4 because I owned them, I played them, but it's like I could not even get the concept of like ammo conservation. I played everything like an action game, so it's like I see an enemy, I need to kill the enemy. So like I never weaved around zombies, I never conserved ammo, and so I would always just get to a point halfway through the game where it's like I'm fucked. I guess I'm not playing this game. So yeah, it was a whole different way of playing games. It's not just kill everything you see.
Yeah, I think because it did more than just the haunted house thing was like very good for me because it's like, oh, for me, monsters were just these enemies of a different flavor, but these actually felt like monsters, like Halloween style monsters, and that went a long way for me. And then I think the sound design was actually goes a long way as well, where like everything sounds creepy and goopy and evil, and that worked for me as well.
And there's a giant snake.
There's a giant
The
snake.
bosses
Snakes
are
are
cool,
scary, yeah.
Tyrant's cool, Wesker, like all the FMV stuff. That intro is amazing.
I mean, even the way the mechanics are set up, like it's a survival horror game. Like back then, having to have the ink ribbons and trying to get through a part that was like, I'm scared, but I got to get through this, or else I'm not going to be able to save. And that increases the tension. Kind of just makes the whole thing work.
I get why games won't do that anymore, but it was like pretty incredible that even saving was this like tense decision. Like, ooh, is it worth saving here right now? God, everything about that game just builds up tension in this really pleasant way. And also, like, it's so neat that you do have two characters. You can play it as Jill or as Chris. and it's different experiences in a lot of ways.
I probably loaded the game up once as Chris and saw the 6 inventory slots. I was like, fuck that. I am nowhere near enough with 8. Like, fuck that.
He doesn't even know how to play the piano. He has to get Rebecca to do that. What a loser.
Doesn't have a lockpick. Like, no.
He's not the master of anything.
No.
I'll go next. I'm really torn here.
Do we have a doc or we just... sorry, I didn't know if we were...
It's on the BOMBCAST doc. I got it.
Okay. Oh,
I'm
cool.
keeping tally.
Cool.
I'm really torn here, gents, because I know that Silent Hill 2 is the more popular game, but Silent Hill 1 scared the shit out of me as a child and as a full-grown adult. I think the atmosphere that it sets and like really using the limitations of the PlayStation 1, but really utilizing the fog really well. And I think kind of being in a different vein than Resident Evil, where you do have weapons, you do have a means of getting rid of enemies, but you're really, really fucked if you get yourself into a bad situation. And then the puzzles and the atmosphere of going back and forth so much, similar to Resident Evil, yes, but I feel like the atmosphere that it was presenting and just like the sound design, especially goopy sounds. I wouldn't say schlorpy sounds. Schlorpy is like a parentheses positive, right?
Sure, yeah.
But like Silent Hill 1, for whatever reason, and it was really, it's tough for me to say Silent Hill 1 versus 2, especially after playing through the Silent Hill 2 remake, which is really well done. But Silent Hill 1, for whatever reason, maybe because it ends on a zanier note, or maybe it has like all the trappings that I look for. Maybe it reminds me more of a Twin Peaks, and like the weird religious stuff at the end of it. I would like to nominate Silent Hill 1 over Silent Hill 2.
I'm with you because both of them I feel like I rented and got like halfway through, like I did with Resident Evil. It's basically every survival horror game. And I remember being more scared by 1. I just remember the tone being so scary and it being so different than Resident Evil in like that psychological way rather than the jump scare way. And 2, I just remember getting more frustrated by it. My memory of 2 was always just like trying to open doors in an apartment building and they're all locked. And that I just got bored and frustrated with it. Whereas 1, I just remember like going into the school and those weird like little ghost children and stuff. And like I remember just being way, way creepier to me.
I mean, I haven't played 1. I only played Silent Hill 2. I played that remake recently, and I was very, very impressed by it. So, so I can't really say if it's creepier or scarier than 1. I'm gonna just have to go with you two on it. But
yeah,
I'd be completely fine if it was Silent Hill 2 for consideration. Is all I'm saying.
There are parts of Silent Hill 2, like in retrospect, and where it feels like to me, and this is going to be very different than how other people experience the game because they played it when they were much younger, and I played it as an adult. But there's parts of 2 where it feels a little heavy-handed, and it feels like it is trying to tell you more through its metaphors rather than to scare you. Because like the opening of Silent Hill 1 did like kind of stick with me and was very unnerving for a while.
I will say it's almost more psychological thriller a lot of times in Silent Hill 2. Part of it is like, yes, it's not really doing like a lot of things like jump scares or whatnot. I kind of like having a few jump scares in these games sometimes, right? It gets the heart, the dog going through the window, right? It's kind of what keeps you sort of excited and on edge a little bit.
Yeah, that was my question. Is like, the Silent Hill 2. I know it's famous for exploring the trauma of the characters, and all the enemies represent sort of inner turmoil. I never knew if Silent Hill 1 was exactly the same, or if it was like more about setting and the fog and the uneasiness and stuff like that.
I think because it was like the first game to try and hit uneasiness like that, it felt like he was using those tools more rather than trying to deal with the psychological internal horror. Just like the fog played such a big deal, like roaming around and realizing like, oh, I really am limited in my ammo, in my weapons, and like even my actions against the enemies.
I'll nominate one if we're ready. PT. I think that if we're just talking about something that scares people as a game, I don't think we need to like dismiss this just because it's the playable teaser. That's the name. It is very scary, and it is a game, and it was so influential that basically Resident Evil had to kind of follow it up and be like, well, we should maybe have more similarities to that going forward. PT just is a really condensed horror experience of putting you in this hallway, having you go through that hallway over and over again. You have expectations of how things will work, and then it begins messing with you. It lulls you into a false sense of security, and then always sort of delivers on undermining that sense of security in the most horrifying way. Often I think Lisa showing up down the hallway is just, especially because the visuals, that Fox engine was so good with that lighting and the shadow of the character at the end of the hallway. It looked so realistic that it was petrifying just to take another step down the hallway. And then it's this fun little puzzle box as well of trying to figure out how these things work and interact with one another, how to actually clear the game so you could see the little treat at the end. It's just really well done all around, and in terms of atmosphere and visuals and tension, it nails all of those. It's about as good as any horror game ever has.
And I wish I would have played it more. I mean, I downloaded it when it came out. I played like maybe 5 or 10 minutes of it, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm curious what this turns into. You know, it's that thing of like I like waiting until the full game's out, and so
that was never going to be the full game. It was going to be a whole other thing. Yeah,
I get that now. The Silent Hills thing was going to be the thing, but I think I was like, maybe that's why I didn't take it seriously and didn't really play it. But I do remember thinking it did have a good atmosphere. I just I don't think I got to Lisa in the hallway or anything like that.
Yeah, and we can't overlook. And Grub, you talked about how it kind of overhauled Resident Evil, but it inspired a whole new generation of
across the board
indie horror games.
Yes,
like,
absolutely. Every horror game was trying to be PT for a while there.
Yeah, like now, if you look at indie horror games, it's either trying to be a PS1 game, a Resident Evil, Silent Hill, or a PT like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's still happening.
Let me nominate Amnesia, the first one. I remember playing that, and it was just the idea of like you can't even fight back. Like, oh, this horrifying thing is here. I don't even quite know what it looks like, and all I can do is like hide underneath a desk and turn off my light or whatever. I remember playing that at night. One night, all the lights were out, middle of the night. My girlfriend at the time was asleep. And I remember, like, she came out to ask me a question or something at one point, and I seriously, like, threw my headset off and like yelled and looked over, and it's like not many games have gotten that reaction out of me. So, Amnesia's great.
Minati, we skipped
the first one anyhow.
Do you wanna nominate 2 if you got them?
No, I went first. We're good.
Oh, you went first?
Yeah.
Oh, you.
Sorry. I kind of jumped in there with Resident Evil. I think. Did I? Or am I making that up?
I think we all were kind of
we just kind of said Resident Evil.
Okay.
Well, then that's fine. I'll go. But yeah, Amnesia's a good one. I haven't played it yet because I was a coward for so long, but that one comes up a lot from other people as specifically just for being scary. I think Dead Space, you could say the original or the remake. I think that flavor of sci-fi horror is always really interesting, right? They're always kind of chasing that alien dream, which is a good dream to chase. There is something very specific about how that kind of scary is scary. You know, an abandoned space station with stuff half working and just blood smeared all over the walls. And I do like that, you know, it is a bit more action heavy, right? It's taking stuff from Resident Evil 4, but it is scarier than a Resident Evil 4. It doesn't necessarily feel like a full-blown action game, especially since you have to be so precise. The ammo maybe isn't Resident Evil 1 scarce, but you are being a little bit careful, and it is much, beneficial to actually think about shooting off the limbs and not just spamming your shots at these people. But it is so much just that atmosphere of this spaceship, space station, and going to all these different places, and the way that they're, tricking you with the lights, with the UI. UI is so freaking good in that game. So yeah, Dead Space stands out for me.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Okay.
I want to nominate Resident Evil 7.
Yes. That was the one I
had my expectations were very low post 6, despite enjoying playing 6 with one of my good friends. I just thought that Resident Evil had jumped the shark and that we weren't going to be super horror focused anymore. We've kind of hit like the action tone or whatever, but this was such a good reset for the series that it feels like it's completely obliterated the mental presence, in my head at least, of 5 and 6, because this is so dang scary. And one of the only instances where I was that friend at a party that refuses to be in a room while a game is being played, and then I got made to play it in VR because I was being a baby about it.
Oh, hell yeah.
The VR aspect can't be understated here. You know, I'm not the biggest VR fan, but like I do think playing that game in VR is probably the scariest video game experience I've ever had.
I can't imagine something scarier. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I'll never forget. I was sitting next to Bonk, and she hadn't done a lot of VR at the time, and I was like, "All right, give it a shot." And she was in a save room. I put the VR on her, the PSVR, and then it was the part where you're supposed to go down into the basement, and there's all the weird goopy guys in like the cemetery or the crematorium place. And I remember her like, okay, I'm going to go down. And I'm looking over at her because her character's not moving down the stairs. I can see on the TV. And I just see her chest start to like, yeah, like she's trying to like work herself up to go down a staircase in a video game. And if that was just on the TV, you would just go down, you know? But it is so good and so scary in VR. I would absolutely put that on there as the second Resident Evil.
Yeah.
It's definitely the scariest Resident Evil, right?
Yeah.
If it's just about being the scariest, which isn't always the case with these Mount Rushmores, right?
Sure.
But yeah, definitely the scariest.
Okay. Grub, I think it's in front of you now.
Okay. I wonder what you guys think about Eternal Darkness, because I think there's some scary parts in it here or there, but I don't. Overall, I think it's more like a fun, sort of Cthulhu. What is that? The whole Lovecraftian Eldritch. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Eldritch themed horror adventure game where it's like kind of almost action adventure. And not super scary, but it is like technically a scary game in the scary game genre.
It's
I gotta say though, seeing Backlar play it a couple years ago now, I remember thinking I wouldn't. I mean, I know we're playing like talking to our friends in the daytime, but it's
Look,
I didn't find
I
it scary.
played through that game too again right before that. I still thought it was fun, but whatever. It's a front-loaded game with the scares. Like the scariest moment from that game that everyone remembers is the bathtub, and that's a incredible scare, right? Like when Jeff and I did a Mount Rushmore of scary moments, that made it there. But like after that, I'm like, what else was scary? And there was definitely some things, but it definitely does kind of fall off from the true horror aspect. Yeah. Like you said, it becomes more Lovecrafting, which isn't personally my favorite flavor of horror, so it misses a little.
I do like that stuff, and I still don't think it's not that scary. And then the sanity effects, they are very cool.
They're very
first
cool.
time.
Yeah.
But it's so I'm like, okay, well, if not that one, what else would I put up there? I mean, I would be like, hey, maybe Five Nights at Freddy's, but I don't think it's going to make our cut.
I don't think it would make our Mount Rushmore, just because I feel like that's we're past the way target demo for it.
Yeah, I played that first one and thought, like, yeah, I like this. This is it's not much, but it's playing around with that fun animatronics and how I just think those things are scary on their own.
Yeah.
And this game's playing around in that space really well, but I don't know. It's not going to probably make our list. So
is Five Nights at Freddy just the modern seventh guest? And also, should we talk about seventh guest, or are we going to be called boomers?
It's the modern Night Trap, really.
I will call you a boomer, and I'm older than you.
Yeah.
Where's the seventh guest? The seventh guest mattered back in 1993. Darn it! It helped sell CD-ROM drives. FMV.
Okay. So we have two kind of nominations. Mike Minotti, I think the wheel's back in front of you, unless we want to start cutting stuff or
I guess I
want to
bring up the Alan Wake games, and I'm trying to decide for myself.
Yeah.
If I want to nominate for this at least, because they are scary games, and yet like the reason I like these games anyways usually doesn't have that much to do with the scary elements of it, right? Like everybody's favorite part from Alan Wake 2 was the wacky musical section, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing scary about that. And Alan Wake 1, what I like about that game is like the flashlight mechanics and the kind of the shooting. There's some good vibes, and there's definitely some horror elements. There's some 100%. Definitely in 2 there are some scary elements. Maybe Alan Wake 2 deserves considering, but I don't know. It's a tough list.
I absolutely love Alan Wake 2, but I wouldn't put it on the Mount Rushmore because I think there's enough scares in it to make it a scary game, but
yeah, it doesn't rise above that, right?
Yeah. Afterwards, like it winds up feeling more like a thriller rather than like a horror movie.
Yeah.
If we were to like equate it to movie terms, because like Zodiac is a thriller.
Yeah,
but there's like
Zodiac.
A couple horror scenes in it that are unnerving, and there's definitely parts of Alan Wake 2 that are like horror focused and unnerving, and that make you kind of question a bunch of things. But even with the Bray Wyatt style scares, I wouldn't put it on the Mount Rushmore of horror games.
Maggots on the screen.
Oh.
What about Alien Isolation or Until Dawn? I just want to get your guys' temperatures on those. I haven't played either, really. I played a little bit of Alien Isolation.
I played a little Alien. I beat Until Dawn. Until Dawn's a good game.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we decide that we're doing these are the scariest games of all time, there's a couple like jump scare things where it's like I interacted with this drawer and a raccoon jumped out at me. You know, like
It doesn't have to be the scariest, but Mount Rushmore of scary games. Yeah,
I didn't find anything really that scary about.
Yeah,
Until
I think I
Dawn.
still agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I probably played it in a wrong setting for me to be really scared because I played it amongst a bunch of friends and we were kind of
Right.
like, oh, ah, and like goofing the whole time. So there were definitely jump scare moments, but it started feeling a little too Saw-ish, where it was like very gory rather than scary.
Sure. I'm not a big slasher fan.
Yeah. No. Hate
I've
it.
seen some people mention in the chat, and I think this is worth it. And I'm curious if any of you beat it. But Outlast. I played that at a PAX. Was my first experience with it. And they put you in a dark room and you just play it. And I remember it scaring the shit out of me as I played it. And then I don't remember why I didn't play through it when it came out. Have any of you played the whole game? Does it keep that up the whole time?
I haven't played the whole game, but I think I played a good bit of it when the PS4 first came out because it was like an early PS4 game, if I'm remembering correctly. And I thought it was scary the whole time I was playing it for sure.
Yeah, and it's got that like, viewfinder camera thing. You're going through this, dark hospital. And I remember being pretty fucking scary.
Yeah. I think it definitely is, but it's like for me, because that's first person, right?
Yeah.
It felt like another one of these that are like kind of going in the wake of PT a little bit. But maybe that's not right. Maybe it was his own thing. So I don't know, but I just feel like PT fills that category on the Mount Rushmore.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I pulled up an IGN list of the top 25 best horror games, and I also solicited a couple items from folks in chat here. I'm just going to quickly rattle through them and see if we feel inclined to add any to our personal list before we rattle away.
Sure.
Ready, boys?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Stuff we haven't included. Stay Out of the House. Don't know what that is.
Don't know what that is.
Slender, The 8 Pages.
Oh,
I think I did play that. And it was kind of spooky, but not really for here.
That was kind of a flash in the pan a bit, the whole Slender Man thing, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Quick
Creepy
correction.
pasta.
Dr. Ryan in the chat says Outlast was 2013, PT was 2014.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's what I was like.
I
was
think
thinking
Jeff
back,
was
I'm like,
catching himself there.
yeah, I was like, yeah, I remember that actually coming out before because PT was a little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Evil Within.
Yeah, I was wondering about those. People like the second one more, right?
I didn't love
Seems like
either of
that
them.
way. Yeah.
Ooh, this crossed my head, but didn't stay there. Condemned.
I liked Condemned and Condemned 2. I didn't finish either one, but I liked what I played of them. But they're
Kinda
scary. They're definitely
action-y.
scary.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
first person melee combat and stuff. It was tense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
not on here.
Those are just murder simulators.
Well,
Mm.
speaking about murder simulators, Manhunt.
Oh, there you go.
That was more frustrating than anything.
Yeah. Is that Blightworthy?
No.
No, not even if we played with the headset thing, although that was funny.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
where's
Yeah.
the one in the dark?
Just
Oh,
thought
hopefully
of
it's on this
Dan
list.
Hunt. That'd be funny.
Oh, Dan
Dan
Hunt.
Hunt,
Oh, yeah.
All
Wore
right.
a hockey mask.
Inside.
No, I would put Limbo above
I'd
Inside.
put Limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, even
I'm
then,
gonna-
I mean, I guess they're kind of scary, but
I'll just put Limbo here for now, and we'll cut it.
Limbo's not
Pretty fast.
terrible, and it's definitely a different kind of scary game,
Mhm.
right? If you're looking for variety, definitely throw that one in there. It's a quick jaunt, especially if you don't like spiders. Then yeah, Limbo's gonna get you.
Okay, well, I won't play that.
Visage. Never heard of it.
Visage. You say visage or visage? I guess
Visage.
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 Can't even say it. Visage.
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 Just
Fat-
Visage.
Phasmophobia. Very scary game, but it's a fun game to play though.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
It is scary, though. I mean,
God, I think it's like right there on the border of line of like, oh yeah, that is sort of an institution now. It could be up on the Mount Rushmore.
Well, okay, let's put it.
Yeah.
I'll put it on this list then.
I think
you know?
if we're doing this like 5 years from now, I think Phasmophobia gets on Mount Rushmore pretty easily.
There's a Teddy Roosevelt slot, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What?
All right. Dead by Daylight.
No, I
no,
don't know if
that's more fun asymmetric multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like,
Fun,
that
it's
doesn't. It's not
tense.
scary.
Yeah, it
I put
doesn't have
Phasmophobia
Grandpa-
way above that.
Doesn't have
Nick
Mega
Cage is in
Grandpa.
it. Come on.
Soma.
I never played that.
Cruise?
Nope. Clock Tower.
I always thought the idea of that was scary as hell, but I didn't have a Saturn. Just the idea of a big dude with big ass scissors chasing you around the house like a Terminator. Like that sounds scary as hell.
And you know that he can't run with scissors, so he's walking very carefully.
Yeah,
after
it's
you.
scarier.
Weird Al tried that, and all he got out of it was a best-selling album.
Forbidden Siren 2?
Never heard of it.
I think this may be an offshoot of the Fatal Frame series. I never played Fatal Frame.
I rented the first one or something. I never played a lot of it.
All right. I mentioned those. Mentioned RE4 not making the scary games list.
No,
it's scary.
There are scary moments. I'm glad you guys got around last night to the regenerators, because if I was thinking about like one spot that actually scared me in that game, there was the part where the regenerator like bursts out and they're like close quarters in the freezer and stuff. Like, yeah, Chainsaw Guy. There are lots of scary moments, but it's mostly action oriented.
If there weren't so many like better Resident Evil games for this specific like category.
1 and 7 are the ones.
Yeah.
And then the last one that we haven't covered that IGN list had was Left 4 Dead 2.
Not scary.
No, not scary.
Not scary. We didn't really talk about Alien Isolation very much after Jeff brought it up.
Oh, right. I haven't played it, so I can't speak to it.
If I haven't played it, it's very scary.
Yeah,
like, it's like, what would you rather have in that kind of sci-fi horror slot, though? That or Dead Space?
Dead Space.
I think Alien Isolation is probably scarier, but I think Dead Space is maybe a more robust game.
I don't want to think about influence too much, but I feel like maybe Dead Space might have more in the long run.
Sure.
Yeah. Dead Space is really fucking good.
Also, if we're not going to have like an RE4 style game, I feel like Dead Space fills that slot.
Yeah, like more action heavy, but still scary. Yeah.
Totally. Dead Space was very scary to me when I played it.
I see some people in chat saying Bloodborne, which is kind of interesting. It's a little. I see it a little bit.
Eldritchy as well.
Right. It's not a little scary. It's not any scarier than like any Souls game,
I think it is scarier than the other Souls games. Maybe not by a lot, but if you ask me what's the scariest Souls game, I would say Bloodborne.
Just realizing that I've been conflating Clock Tower and Clockwork Knight my entire life.
Oh, those
really?
Are very different games.
They're
very different games. I know.
Yeah.
I never played either one.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Clockwork Knight as a kid, and very little Clock Tower.
Has anyone checked out Phantasmagoria 2?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right, we've pretty much covered a lot of the other games that folks are suggesting. Let me just do another scan. Last of Us, but I don't.
No,
not enough.
Last of Us Part 2, I really hated going in that hospital.
Sure,
yeah, it's a Resident Evil 4 style.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna make the cut.
Yeah.
And then a couple folks and Chuck have been saying Night Trap.
Night Trap.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, I would put FNAF before I put Night Trap up there.
I would put Seventh Guest. I would put the 11th Hour.
Okay, now you're just talking crazy.
I'm just saying.
I would put 12 minutes.
What's your social security number? 7?
I remember watching my brother play 11th Hour, and I was like, because it had the Fuma's video, I was like, I think ghosts are real. Ooh, there was a Alone in the Dark FMV CD-ROM game that I had as a kid that was awesome. It was that same kind of thing.
You've been Edward Carnby before?
He's been Edward Carnby this whole time.
Oh my God.
Edward Carnby this entire time.
What about Splatterhouse 2010? You like that, Jan?
No.
Splatterhouse 1 and 2 rule though.
That was just games. John Cena in a Jason mask.
Yeah. Okay. And
what about The Haunting starring Poltergeist? Or whatever that's called.
Genesis. Yeah.
Poltergeist.
Pretty good.
Not bad. It's not bad.
All right.
I think we have our 4 in our short list here. Which do you want to read the whole short list that we have, Jan?
Yeah. Well, I'll start from the bottom and we'll go up to the top of stuff that we've considered and put down on a list. So we have Phasmophobia, Limbo, Until Dawn, Alan Wake, Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, Five Nights at Freddy's, Resident Evil 7, Dead Space, Amnesia, PT, Silent Hill 1, and Resident Evil 1.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think those first 3 are... I know PT might have a little bit of a hard time because I think a lot of you didn't play it, but I think those first 3 are probably locks.
I take your word for it on PT.
Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and PT. That means leaves one space. Now, do you guys disagree with that?
No, I think we definitely put them as the top contenders right now. I would also say let's bold RE7.
Yeah,
Okay.
again, that might be hard to just. And again, it's not like a requirement that can't be more than one game for each series, but
Oh,
because
yeah.
there's like so many, like
I don't know.
Dead Space would be
It's
good.
also different enough from
It's
the
very
original
different.
Resident
First
Evil.
person,
It is. No,
the
for
stuff
sure,
with the
for sure.
dad,
Yeah.
you know,
We're gonna have
rampaging
the
around the
conversation.
VR. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
we
but-
can go ahead and cut Five Nights in Eternal Darkness.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
fine with that. Yeah.
I'll take
Probably
out
Alan
Alan Wake.
I think
Yep.
cut Limbo. Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
cut Limbo.
Yeah.
Honestly, okay, for me, if it's not Resident Evil 7, I think it might be Phasmophobia.
See it.
There's something there, yeah. It genuinely gets, even though you're playing with friends and stuff like that, and it's a good streaming game and everything. Like, I remember I only played it a couple times. I remember one time I like screamed at something, like, "Holy shit!"
It's got the VR thing as well. I
Yeah.
played it in
Yeah,
VR,
is
and
it-
it was
Is it one of
terrifying being in the basement
first
alone.
games to do proximity audio really well?
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe
it
I
does
won't
the
be Yoda for
walkie-talkie
being a
stuff and
boomer.
everything. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, having to I think find some light source to do anything in the basement because it's completely pitch black. And I'm in
Yeah.
the VR down there. It's yeah.
I am sensing some hesitation with Dead Space. What's kind of the
Well, no,
holding
there's a
people
lot of
back
good
on
ones
it?
here right now. I fucking love Dead Space. I like Dead Space definitely more than like Phasmophobia or PT.
Sure.
But I think for these
This
purposes, you know,
Yeah, I'll be right.
I might sooner cut PT to include
I would-
RE7 and Phasmophobia.
I would do that.
Yeah, but I do think that's wrong, guys. PT is emblematic and iconic in this space in scary games now. It is so important to what horror games have been for the last 10 years.
Even though I've been playing, I think I had this like argument with Jeff once, and then like him and everybody else yelled at me to the point where like not like yelling at me, but they like convinced me. I'm like,
Beat
oh
you
no,
up.
I think I get it. I think PT probably makes a lot of sense.
So,
Hmm.
is the real argument here if Silent Hill 1 belongs on here?
Oh, boy, it's a heavy hitter.
Yeah, it's heavy hitter, cult classic for sure.
Right.
I
I
mean,
mean, I'd put some again. I haven't played one. I would put 2 up there if you're saying it's even more fitting than 2 is.
Silent Hill 1 is definitely in the top 4 games on this list that have scared me personally,
Sure.
without a doubt.
I mean, if we do Resident Evil 1, Silent Hill 1, PT, and Resident Evil 7, like we don't feel too great about that, or what?
Actually, that's not bad.
Say that again,
It
Greg.
might just
Sorry.
be me that's getting
bold
a
ones,
little.
The ones that are bolded.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm kind of okay with that.
It might be me who's getting a little stuck up on like, oh, we got to give
Well-
Resident Evil 2, and you're right. There's a good reason to, but
Let's
when
cut
there's so
Amnesia
many
then,
candidates.
for sure.
Yeah, cut Amnesia. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, Mike, I love Dead Space and it scared the crap out of me. I had
Sure,
to
you
rent
can
it
cut it.
twice. Are we cool cutting Dead Space?
Yeah.
we can cut
yeah.
Dead Space. I do think it's maybe Phasmophobia or RE7 for that last spot.
I
Okay,
gotta
so
go with
let's
7.
do a quick recap. Current locks for sure: RE1, Silent Hill 1, PT, and fighting for that 4th slot is Resident Evil 7 and Phasmophobia.
7.
I think it's 7.
The one thing is like, I think 7 is a very, again, Jeff brought this up. It's directly inspired by PT already, and it's why we got that. And it's a good thing. And Phasmophobia is representing something very different on this list. The multiplayer and all that stuff.
I agree with what Mike's saying. If we do go RE7, the way I would feel good about it is like, yeah, PT started it, and Resident Evil 7 sort of cemented it as like, this is how you do the scariest kind of game right now. And so it's like there's a lineage there that I'm okay with like representing on here.
Then I would
yeah.
cut RE7.
I think that like if I was like legitimately gonna go carve something into a mountain, I would not put RE7 up there because we already have RE1, and I would put Phasmophobia, but we're not doing that. And so I'm like, that's why I'm like, I could go either way.
We're not cutting. I think people say, "Oh, just cut Resident Evil 1."
No.
And again, it's not specifically just what's the scariest game ever. It's the Mount Rushmore of scary games.
The
Joe
RE1
Valentine is
is
George Washington.
George Washington. George Washington's
Yeah.
not the best president. Like
You
he's
don't
not.
cut George Washington from Mount
Well,
Rushmore.
speak for yourself. He had some great songs in Hamilton.
George Washington was in that?
Oh my god.
Shit. I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that.
He was
he's
like
okay.
okay.
If Tom could have heard that,
He's like the third lead. Okay, it's fine.
Well, it doesn't look like George Washington, you see.
oh,
Oh, did he not have the white wig? I bet I was looking for that.
No.
nobody. He
Yeah, he
that's
was,
another major point of this.
Played by
show.
a man of color. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Everybody is like played by a man of color in that.
Yep.
Like I said, I wasn't really paying attention to it when I saw it.
All right.
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
remember
Okay.
anything. The
Let's
floor
cut Resident
rotated.
Evil
It was
7 and
good.
put Phasmophobia. Let's just do it.
Wait, say that again.
Let's cut Resident Evil 7 and just do Phasmophobia. Let's just do it. Dan, I know you really want Resident Evil 7, but we have Resident Evil up there already. I think it's Phasmophobia.
As long as I'm on record saying I disagree, but it's not like a wild thing. I think Phasmophobia is very
Right.
good at what it does, and I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We have done
Yeah.
it. Our hands are clean. There's no blood. No knives had to be brought out. We had a civil discussion amongst friends. Giant Bomb has crowned the Mount Rushmore of scary games. We have. We want to go descending order. I'll take the next one, Grub, Dan, then
gotcha.
Mike.
I don't have a doc open, but sure.
Well, you say Phasmophobia after Dan.
All right, you just okay. When you speak to me and stomp on my foot, I will
Yeah.
say Phasmophobia.
Hello, Mr. Johnson.
All right. Giant Bomb's Mount Rushmore of scary games is Resident Evil 1.
Silent Hill 1.
Resident Evil 7.
No.
What?
You have the doc in front of you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, he's doing
Resident
a
Evil.
bit.
Am I pronouncing this wrong?
PT.
E.T.
Oh, PT. Okay.
And Mike?
Phasmophobia.
Yay.
Hey.
We
We
did.
did it, folks, and we did another podcast, and we are complete with another week in the books, folks. Extra Life coming at you next weekend. Stay tuned. Peep your peepers. Lot of fun things planned. GB Midwest, we're gonna have a good time.
Having a ball.
Gonna have a ball. Maybe they'll have a little Astrobot Invitational in person, all on Dan's account. So
It makes
Dan
sense,
wins
like,
either way.
Most of that crew is going to be in this house. So, yeah.
Folks, anything else you want to plug? We should check out, do or something? No.
Let's have a good
Good games
weekend.
meet.
Let's do Halloween stuff.
Yeah. All right. There you go, folks. Have a good weekend. From everyone here at GiantBomb.com, we love you. We care about you. Stay safe if you're celebrating Halloween this weekend. And I don't know.
Fuck the seal.
I guess you could do that.